My favorite comedy show was, a lot of people went for Azumanga Daioh or Nichijou. My favorite one was Asobi Asobase. And there was one scene that like sealed the deal on it being like my favorite comedy one. And it was like they were like doing some kind of punishment game, and the punishment was,
hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boys, and we are back with the 34th episode of the DNAnime podcast. I am Beautiful Crow. This is my co-host, Vic Seal, and we are in the building to talk about our anime opinions and make you happy or make you mad or make you sad or make you glad. You don't know. It's a whole grab bag. It's like a gotcha game of terrible, terrible opinions. But, Vix, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. I have been doing the charity streams all week. I have been reading so much Berserk. I am 150 chapters in, I think, and
Holy
I started
crap.
like 3 days ago. So I have been reading all the Berserk. So that is what I was planning on talking about for our pre-show rendition of what we've been doing before this week. Berserk. I've been doing lots of Berserk. There was not much on the like anime front, just the normal stuff. You know, everything that was good is still good. Everything that was bad is still bad. I I haven't even looked for Blue Lock anymore. I took that shit off my list.
Well, Blue Lock, yeah, because I know you and probably a lot of people in the anime community were holding out for, what was it, the U20
yeah,
match?
I think they started it, and they're still doing that like weird clip artifact where the video itself is like doing the little wave effect, but not like their clothes aren't like reacting to the wind. They're just like sliding forward, and then they just make the whole scene wiggle, and it looks so weird. That was the last thing I saw. Like, I was like, how are they still doing that? But so I haven't had anything new. All the good stuff is still good. For everybody who liked Fairy Tail before, if you have read the 100-year arc for Fairy Tail, Yokai Lucy just made an appearance. If you read it, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm sorry, you're missing out. Yokai Lucy is like, Yokai Lucy, you know, okay, so for anybody who already knows Lucy Heartfilia, you know that she's already like the fan service character, right? Like they just throw the fan service at her left and right. When she gets turned into a yokai for the reasons that have happened in the most recent episodes, they just like take her clothes away, and her boobas are just hanging out.
Fairy Tail is insane
and
in that way.
She gets like, when she turns into a demon or a yokai, she's like really touchy feely with Natsu. So it's like extra fan service. But there was also the other scene where they tried to turn all of Natsu and Gray's like memories of the women in the guild into like the nude versions of those women, and because that's how like she would win the fights, is they normally people would be flustered by that, and Natsu and Gray just straight up like and just punches them like right in the face. It's so funny to see how much fan service they throw on the female characters, and then the guy characters like not react at all.
I mean, pretty much, because like whenever you got something like, it's dude, Fairy Tail's nuts, because I love Juvia. She's like one of my favorite characters, and her whole thing is just like she just wants to fuck Gray, and he's just like
so
talking
much
to her, and he's like whatever. So
the funny part about 100-year arc is that they have like a doppelganger, not like a magic doppelganger, but you know, like the term where there's somebody out there who looks like you. They find that one, like Gray is by himself, he's out on a mission, and he finds the Gray and Juvia doppelgangers, and they are together. And the Juvia is like really open with taking her clothes off. So Gray can see the like not Juvia who looks just like Juvia take her clothes off. And it was like so in your face about it, and she was just like, we can keep this between us. It's like I don't know where to go with this right now. But it's funny.
Doppelganger Gray getting cooked.
It's funny, and they're being very liberal with like taking clothes off in this arc, apparently. I didn't remember that much. I don't remember that much. I remember the Yokai Lucy. Right? I didn't remember the Juvia one. There's also a part where Juvia gets shrunk down, and it might be like filler because I don't remember it from the manga, but it could be in the manga. Juvia gets shrunk down in the bath, and she's obviously too small to put her clothes back on. So they have to go find the person who shrunk them down, and Juvia finds Gray and climbs up on his shoulder, just wearing the towel, and then somebody else walks up, and he is like, I don't want anybody to see Juvia naked, so he just grabs her and just shoves her in his mouth. All right, and then they find the person who made them all small, and she undid the magic, and so Juvia just comes pouring out of his mouth, just like full on nude.
All right, this get a little freaky.
Oh, it's so old school fan service, like in your face. Like they're not trying to hide it at all. They're not trying to like sugarcoat it. They're not trying to like sneak it in. No, this is if you grew up in anime like 20 years ago, this is it. This is what it is. So a 100-year arc is gonna have to take my fan service disclaimer. So, but it's good. It's still good. I still like it. They're so in your face about it that it's like it's gone past the weird part where it's like funny now. So I'm more okay with it.
It's ingrained in the show.
Yeah, but it's like. It's gone past the weird part, you know. It's like they do fan service and it just kind of ruins a character. They do it so much and like so in your face with it that it doesn't really bother me, because it's like whenever it happens, you're like, oh, that's fairy tale. Yep, that's just how it is. You just kind of accept it. But it's like now, after watching it after so many years, it's like, all right, maybe I should put the disclaimer on this one too. So. But I know there was some people that within our communities that are freaks out there. Watch Fairy Tail. You'll enjoy yourselves.
Watch Fairy Tail. Yes.
But aside from Fairy Tail, the other one I was going to talk about was Berserk, because where I was reading it from, they started in chapter 0.1 or something, and then there was like 10 versions of it. Well, like 10, there was like 10 pre-chapters, and I was like almost not going to keep reading it after this prologue because it was random. It started off what felt like could have been an opening, and then it just turned really hard into like what had already happened. And I was like, I don't understand what's going on. And you see Guts like really angry at Griffith, and you're like, I don't know who the fuck Griffith is right now. So he's just like getting stomped by everything. Like every 2 seconds, Guts is just like getting absolutely rocked. And I was like, I thought everybody said this guy was a badass. All he's done is lose so far. And it was just like that for like 400 pages. And I was like, what the? And then they put Puck in there. I hate Puck. All right, I'm gonna say it straight up. I hate Puck. Take his ass out of this story. I don't like anything about him. He's so annoying. He just ruins it. Like they have this horrific scene like way later, and Guts is just like this freaking monster coated in blood ripping through demons, and then they have this fucking noodle fairy, and it's like, and he's just like, how could you do this? You're gonna hurt her feelings. And it's like, you think he give a fuck about feelings right now? Look at him. Look at him. Look at what you're going through right now.
When you brought up Puck, I was just like, oh yeah, that motherfucker is in the manga. So the reason why I say that is, one, he's kind of just like, Miura put him in there as some kind of like source of levity because Berserk is very fucking dark.
He even made Puck say that he was there specifically so the story doesn't get too dark.
Yeah.
He says that out loud, and I was like, I would rather the story just be dark.
Yes.
Like, don't sugarcoat it. The only value that Puck brings at all is medicinal. He is literally a walking first aid kit.
Yep.
They could have just made the demons like not appear during the day that much so that he could just sleep, and then him just have like a good recovery rate.
Dude, oh my god, because that is okay. So spoilers for Berserk. I won't go into too much stuff, but yeah, that is the whole thing. Like, you got past the eclipse, right?
Yeah.
So you got to the Brandon. and you get to see what Guts has to go through.
Yeah.
That man goes through so much shit. He doesn't get to sleep.
He's literally been doing that for like 20 years, like since birth. He's like, honestly, if there was ever one guy who was just straight up out of fucks to give, it would just be him. Like,
yep.
The fact that Puck, well, I know Puck doesn't know at this point for where I'm at, but it's like, obviously you can tell he doesn't give a shit. Like, you are, even if you didn't know Guts' past, he knows what the branding of sacrifice is. And he just watched Guts tear apart like 45 demons every day for like 2 weeks. And it's like, where in this was the part where you're like, oh yeah, he's a glorious honor-seeking knight. Like, no, he's just gonna cut shit up. That's his thing. And then
blood and guts.
And then the child, I understand the child trying to like convince him because she's like just got there, because I just finished the Misty Valley. So the child was like trying to convince him. I kind of get that. And he was like, I will just cut you in half. He was like, I do not care. Like, that thing is evil. And if you try to stop me from killing that thing, you will also die. And that is how it is going to be. And he took that swing. He took that swing, and everyone was like, how could you? And it's like, really? Like I get the girl, but Puck, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. I hated Puck. Every time he talks, I'm like, shut up. Just let Guts do Guts things.
That's the whole thing. And I 1000% agree with you on there. He's not a part of the OG anime. I don't think he's a part of the what is it called? The Golden Age arc at all. He's only like past the eclipse.
Yeah, he doesn't even show up until after the eclipse. Like in the prologue, he was post eclipse. So they showed you like who Guts was fighting, but you don't know any of those guys all the way up until the eclipse. And then Puck comes back. I don't understand why Puck is like following him, because it's like Puck has the ability to like feel his pain. So he's just following him around, and then every 2 seconds he's like, "Oh, I'm in unimaginable pain," and then he's like, "You know what? I'm gonna go back."
Puck deserves.
And he's like, "You don't like that? Why?" And then Guts is like, "Go away," and kept calling him a bug, and he kept trying to like kill him too. And he's like, "You know what? I'm gonna leave." And then he leaves for like 1 page, and then he's like, "I miss Guts," and then he goes back. And I'm like, "Come on, dude." I don't, at the point where I'm at, I'm like, I don't see a way to like remove Puck, because Guts almost loses almost every fight. He comes out like battered and bleeding and dying. So they needed a way to have him at like full health all the time. And it's like, here's Puck. Dude, I would have rather him just have been like a magic bandage or something. Like, come on. I don't want to hear you talk.
I mean, Puck is just kind of there. He's not really super duper important. They
put so much focus on him in the Misty Valley, because it's all about elves, and he's like an elf. Yeah. Which, by the way, is also wrong. Why are they flying? That they're fairies. They're pixies. They're not elves.
Yeah.
I don't know why you call them elves. Those are pixies.
Well, okay. Later stuff happens. Later stuff happens to explain why they're elves and not pixies. Yes.
I mean, we got the children from the Misty Valley, so we know about them.
Dude, it's like memories are coming back. Okay, so my whole thing with Berserk is I watched anime back when I was 14. So that was probably like in 2003, 2004, right? So that was like forever ago. And then like 20 years ago, right? Now, I've been reading the manga ever since. So my knowledge on Berserk, because I haven't done a reread of Berserk in forever. I just been reading it.
It's probably spotty. Yeah, I kind of figure.
Yeah, so my memory is very spotty. I do remember the children thing, because like that whole village, like everything's all fucked up and all the children there.
That was fucked up when he like gathered the like fairies or the fake elves into the barn and then burned the barn down to kill all the demons. And then that's where you like really find out that when you kill a demon, they turn back into their human form. And there was just like this mountain of dead babies. I was like, oh, okay. Well, that doesn't look good on you, does it?
You're in Guts's Guts is like, he's not a human right now.
Yeah, he was like He was like
is
hanging
not
in
human
there.
right
He
now.
was like just being like a rough and tough guy, and then he like got the mountain of babies, and I was like, oh damn, that sucks. And he's like, I'm not even gonna try to explain this. I'm just gonna go for one more. Takes the child hostage, and it's like, yeah, I'm walking out of here.
It's rough, but you understand after you see all the shit he went through. He just like, I'm just trying to survive. So he's pretty much fucked, man. That brand fucks him and Casca. Like, because every night.
I will say though, so during the eclipse, I had never heard of Casca before. So like, I didn't know anything about her. So I figured that this is a spoiler for Berserk if you haven't got to this point yet. It is like the major turning point in the series. So be warned. I did not think she was going to survive the eclipse. And how she survived, the effects on her afterwards make a lot of sense. Like she fully like that's an actual trauma response that she had, and that was a real one, and it stuck around. They didn't swat it away. They didn't go like, oh guts, you have awoken and my memories are returning. No, like she is like, who the fuck are you? And she is like freaking out. And I'm like, that's a real trauma response. That was a good one. I don't like that they just kind of at this point just threw her away. Like, does she ever come back?
Okay, so this is gonna be. So I've been, again, like I said, I've been reading Berserk and watching Berserk for the last 20 years. I love Berserk. Casca's one of my favorite characters in anime. She's so cool. Like when you get to see them in the Band of the Hawks, she's like the second in command with Griffith. She's her own person. She's strong in her own right. You know, obviously she's not as strong as Guts and Griffith, but like people are afraid of her, and she's like a tactician. She's one of the leaders, you know, in the Bands of the Hawk. And she was cool. And when you're 14-year-old, she's like the black anime character. You know what I mean? Like she's it. I'm just like, Casca's so fucking cool. And watching her relationship grow with Guts and Griffith and how that dynamic changed because she's in love with Griffith.
That definitely felt really good to see how she started off with like this assumed affection for Griffith that then like solidified itself as a version of admiration. And then she separated it from her affection with Guts. And I was like, that's deep. I was like, that was pretty good. They did that really well. And then the meetup, the like return of Guts was also really good. And then they got together for a little bit. And I was like, this is fucking awesome.
It's those moments that I'm just like, Miura does such a good job making the characters feel human in those moments. And then when you get to the big turning point, which is everything that leads up to Guts leaving the Band of the Hawk and the downfall of Griffith and the eclipse, it's just like that shit like fucked me up as a teenager. You know what I mean?
Some of I didn't think that I figured when the eclipse started and everybody started like getting eaten and whatever, that I was like, okay, yeah, this is everybody's fucking dead. I thought that was like they were just gonna be dead, but they were like, nah, let's show Pippin like hollowed out on the backside. And I was like, oh shit, the like giant is literally just a shell. That's crazy. The one guy that I was like, if there was a guy that wasn't the MC that lives, I wanted it to be Judo, the knife guy.
The knife dude, he was the best.
I was like, I want him to live so bad. He was such a good, like, he was the greatest friend. He was a good wingman, but he was the best friend. So
he was. I
was like, oh my god! And then he saves Casca in the eclipse, and he's the one that like kept her grounded enough to get to where she got to, and then he died like horrifically, and I was like, this fucking sucks.
The eclipse fucking sucks. So when I was listening, because we talked about it previously, this is off podcast or whatever, kind of leading up to this, we talked about it. We were kind of discussing like Griffith, right? And I understand where you're coming from, because obviously Griffiths get fucked up. He gets turned the beef jerky man, and he's just completely fucked.
Oh yeah.
My whole thing was that it was his fucking fault. like because he had, like,
absolutely.
Because,
so
like Griffith.
Yeah.
Okay,
so talking about my original take was going to be, I get where Griffith was coming from because of the timing of the question of the incident in question. I was like, I get it. Like, he literally was tortured for like a full year, and then they were like, hey, do you want to get your entire life back and then be stronger? probably not the greatest time to ask somebody if they want to kill a bunch of people. They would probably, most people would probably just be like, you know what? Yeah. Fuck that.
That's the fucking Bailiff, man. That's the Bailiff.
But yeah, you are right. He did that to his fucking self.
That's my thing, because I was like, I totally get your logic, but I was like, especially being a Berserk fan for 20 years, and you hear the stupid ass repeated joke of Griffith did nothing wrong. Griffith did nothing wrong.
No, he absolutely did something wrong. Like the thing is I get where it came from. I get where the choice came from. I know how he got there. But he did that to his fucking self. So.
But just because Guts left, he was just like, "Oh, I'm gonna throw everything away and make bad decisions."
However, I will say, while Griffith made a dumbass choice by going to see the princess and then doing what he did, I feel like the king kind of like went a little overboard.
Yeah, he did kind of overreact.
Yeah, like torturing him for like a whole year. And then especially everything that came up after that when they tried to do the rescue mission, that was a lot. Like, that was one thing. And it seemed like it was pretty consensual. So I was like...
Yeah, it was.
I was like, why? Like, I get you being mad because it's your daughter and whatever. But then what the king did afterwards, that was fucked. That was so fucked. Oh, that made me uncomfortable as fuck. The art on that insane, one, dude. I was terrified. I'm gonna have nightmares about that one.
I'm telling you, dude, Berserk is so fucking good, man. Berserk is so good, but God, I fucking hate Griffith. And the fucked up thing about it is it's hard to hate him, even after all of that. It's hard to hate Griffith.
Prior to the eclipse, the entire time, I was like looking for the angle in which he would just be like everybody's most hated guy. Because I knew everybody hated Griffith. Like everybody hates Griffith. And I was like going through the series and I was like looking for the thing. And I was like, okay, yeah, he's like kind of a dick a lot of the times. And he's pretty merciless when it comes to like getting what he wants. And I was like, maybe he does something a little crazy and he ends up getting a lot of the band of the Hawk killed. And I was like, okay, maybe that's where it comes from. Him choosing to do that though was not on my list. I was like, I know that they kind of made it so it was like he couldn't really say no, like he couldn't cover the lie, couldn't like lie about it. If they're like, do you want to sacrifice everybody? He couldn't say no because it was like, say it with your heart. And it's like, well, yeah. He was like, bruh, I want my hands back. I want my legs back. I want my figure back. I want ultimate power. I want to fly. I want to be able to reach the castle in the sky. It's like, this was literally an offer almost too good to refuse in the perfect time where he was like in absolute trauma. So the only thing was like, you spent like 20 years with these dudes. Like, no, like, did you hesitate at all? Didn't really feel like it. You just kind of, it felt more like you didn't understand what was happening. And then when you kind of got a piece of it, you were like, yeah, no, fuck them.
Well, that was the whole thing with Griffith's character, is that Griffith, like, that was always his thing. His ambition, dude. His ambition was always, he was always telling us, like, I want the castle in the sky. I want to be king. And I'm going to do it. And the band of the Hawks are going to be my wings to get there. So it's like everything makes total sense. What they meant. I don't think he really knew what the plan was, but so it's like everything makes sense, especially when you see him in the lake and he puts his arm down and his arm snaps and he's just sitting there holding his like twig arm.
I was like, oh, that's fucked. And it's like when they said that his tendons were cut, I was like, how does he get back to the? Because I didn't realize that he was going to be like transformed. I thought he was just going to like switch sides, but he was like, nah, we're taking this world of might and turning it into a world of magic. So he just was like, yeah, all right, well, all them, they serve their purpose. You can kill them now. It's cool. The one guy who wasn't in there, Ricket, I was like, I don't even know who this is. He just kind of like show up sometimes.
He's just the little kid that was always around. And he was like, yeah, Guts. And that's about it. And he was like, hey, Ricket, stay home. And he was the one guy. Guts and him were just like, don't come to school tomorrow. He just got to stay home. And he just missed everything. And I was like, well, that's good.
He showed up on the outside of the eclipse, like whirlwind. And he just saw the immortal knight jump out. And he's like, Casca's just like naked and like clearly abused, Guts covered in blood. They're the only ones. And he's like, take these guys, they need help. And he's like, what? And he's like, shut the fuck up, they need help.
They need help now. Skull Knight motherfucking MVP. Skull Knight's so fucking cool, dude.
I want to see what they do with him, because the last thing that he did was he ate one of those little egg things.
Yeah,
and
he ate the
I was
Bailey.
like, are you using people to get power out of these eggs? Like, why did you eat that? I don't know if I would
You'll
ever
find out
consider
more.
eating the egg that cries blood. That's a little weird. But I mean, he is an immortal skeleton knight, so
Yeah, dude, Berserk is so good. Again, then just to kind of like explain what I said about it's hard to hate Griffith. It's like I fucking hate Griffith. What he did was unfucking forgivable to one of my favorite characters, and I will never.
absolutely.
I fucking like I said, he's one of my most hated anime characters. Period. Like I hate Griffith. He's number one on the list. But like the actions beforehand, like he was like I love Griffith. Like Griffith's so fucking cool. I love the Bandit Hawks and everything before the fucking
I like to
you
look
know the
at
eclipse.
I like to look at Griffith in 3 states. So there's Griffith, which is Band of the Hawk Griffith, and
After
he
breakup.
is kind of a dick. He's kind of a
Yeah.
dick, but he's like, he's all right. He's a little bit extreme towards his ambition, but that's like kind of the world that they lived in. And then there was post breakup where he was just like in fucking shambles. Then there was that part becomes like tortured Griffith, and I wish I knew what he was like. They were trying to portray with what Griffith was thinking about when he couldn't talk,
Yeah.
because it was either like admiration for Guts's growth over the time that he was gone, or it was like envy for what he has become. And I was like, I don't know which way he's going right now.
But that's why I like that ambiguity there because you don't know.
Yeah, and
both
then
fit his character.
yeah, and then
His
there was
past
like
character and his current character.
yeah. So then you take
That's what I love about it.
tortured Griffith, like it's in shambles, tortured Griffith, and he turns into Demon Griffith. So
Yeah.
Griffith was fine. Tortured Griffith was pushing. He looked like he was about to make some choices, and then he made the choice, and then he turned into Demon Griffith, and everybody hates Demon Griffith. So,
But again, I don't want to say nothing because again, you're reading it. It's a long ride and it's really good. But it's just like Griffith is around doing stuff while Guts is dealing with the brand of sacrifice and being pissed off and yelling Griffith.
but yeah, at this point, he's doing something. He's in Demon Griffith form. We haven't seen
Yeah.
Griffith in a while.
Yeah.
Poor Guts. He's out here. He's living, sort of.
That's why I was like, when that people were like, "Oh, this anime character suffered the most," and this anime character, I was like, "Dude, nobody suffers like Guts suffers." Dude.
Yeah, I think Guts still ain't done.
No, dude, it gets literally okay. So you won't know this because you're reading it all now in bulk. But being a Berserk fan that's caught up and knowing that Miura was off playing Love Live and shit, and he would come out with one chapter every year, and it was a lot of it sucked, dude. And it was a lot of like he's older. His artwork, he was a perfectionist. So like again, his artwork just gets better and better and better as years
Dude,
go
there
on.
there was an intense art shift in one chapter, and I was like, "What the fuck just happened?" Because it was so ugly. It was like chapter 99 was good. It was like the standard, really good, really detailed stuff. And then 99.5, there was like a filler chapter, and that was booty. I was like, what is this? They like slimmed his face. His hair was like a different style.
I think
Puck was more
somebody else drew
detailed.
that
I was like,
one.
what the hell was this? It was
I think somebody else
horrendous.
drew it.
Yeah,
I
somebody
think- I
had
think
to,
I
because that was
remember
like, I was like, I guess, okay, so I shouldn't say it's horrendous, because it was fine in its own right.
But in comparison to Miura's
but
normal
it can't
work.
come after that. Like you can't
Yeah.
take that character and then do that. So it was ugly.
But yeah.
it was like a culture shock. I'm like, what happened here?
But yeah, look, Berserk is amazing, dude. And it was like health reasons. He was getting older. So you would get like 1-2 chapters a year. And you'll know when you get to that point because, dude, like when I tell you, I don't want to spoil it, but there's like 7 years.
We're 2
and
years
there's one
past.
event.
He's left Casca 2 years ago. That's where I'm at.
No, not in world, real world years.
Oh,
Of them just doing one event. So I had to wait for chapters to come out every year, and for 7 years, the character was doing this one mundane thing, and how hard that was to deal with.
That-
I'm just
yeah,
like,
when
need them to
whenever I
get to where
catch
they need to
up-
go.
are they still releasing chapters, or?
Yeah, they are. I haven't been reading them. 'Cause it just makes me sad because, like, right before Miura passed,
Is
there's
the
this
world
one
that will never
chapter.
be?
It's again. That's what I was like. I love Berserk. Berserk is amazing. It's my favorite manga of all time. And there was one last chapter before he passed that came out, and it wasn't a resolution. The battle wasn't, done, or anything like that. But when he passed, I was just like, you know what? I'm fine with this being ended. Like, it was like a bittersweet moment. And I was like, if this is where it ends and no more Berserk happened, you know what? As a fan that's been watching and reading this for 20 years, I'm fine with it. This man did everything that he could until the day that he died to make this. I'm fine with this being the ending. And then they were like, hey, we're thinking about what we're going to do. We're going to continue it. We're going to figure out everything, and we'll let you guys know. And I was like, all right, well, I guess Berserk's gonna keep going. Maybe he has a manuscript and everything like that, or he knew he was getting sick, so he was like, I'm gonna tell you guys what I wanted to do with the story. You guys can finish it for me. And I was like, if they just speed it and wrap it up, I'm fine with that. Look, get some closure. And some chapters started to coming out, and I was like, well, the art's different, you can tell, but it's still good. Like, it's assistants working on it. But in typical Berserk fashion, it started to get fucking sad. And I was just like, do I really want to continue this? Like, knowing that it's not going to be Mirror working on it, and I'm just getting gut punched every fucking week as it comes out. So I was just like, I don't know if I want to keep reading it, because
have to. Now you have to. You got to finish it.
I got to finish it. But
you've invested so much time, and if you were to stop now, it's like, because they're following his they're following his pre-scripted story plan, right? So while the art isn't his, stopping now would be like a disgrace. It would be like a dishonor on him. Like, you got to. You gotta. If Guts can go through all that, you can go through 25 chapters of not his art.
Oh my god! So if Guts, because you know what, you're right. Guts goes through hell. You ain't even seen the hell he about to go through. This man gives up. Ooh. But I love Guts as a character. He's such an in-depth character from his...
He's even got nothing left to give up. Everything's gone.
You think...
It's like Ricket.
Losing his arm?
You got Ricket. No. They're going to come back for Casca. I know it. But, aside from Casca, what's he got? The sword?
Oh, you about to find out. You about to find out, dude. It just gets worse. But then there's light. But then it gets worse. And then there's light. I'm telling you, man, Guts is such a fucking amazing character. All the way from his childhood to the Bandit Hawks to his adulthood and becoming like a demon, essentially, while he's fighting demons and then regaining his humanity, but also sacrificing everything for everybody. Guts is an amazing fucking character. Read Berserk, dude. I really, really enjoy it. I fucking love Berserk.
How simple they try to really nail how they really try to make it so that that Guts is a really simple character. He's incredibly in-depth for being guy with big sword.
Yep. He is literally everything. He's guy with big sword that's super duper strong and killed 100 men and he's awesome. But also he has all this trauma, all these when he was like, don't touch me. That moment where he's I cannot be touched because all the shit he went through as a kid.
Yeah. I really like that they didn't disregard that. It came back, because once again, that's a real trauma response.
Yep.
So them going towards that, they kind of hinted that he was kind of like that, but they didn't really make it obvious until the time with Casca, and then it was oh yeah, that's still there.
Yep.
And that was almost also really dark. It was hey, this is about to get really bad really fast. And then he reeled back, and I was like, oh, whoa, this can't be how she goes out.
Yeah, dude,
not like that. Not like that.
Is really fucking good, but I hate fucking Griffith. All my homies hate Griffith. Fuck Griffith. But I'm sure once you start reading some more chapters, we'll have another powwow about Berserk, because it's so fucking complex.
Berserk, my bedtime story right now. I read it for an hour before I go to sleep.
Yeah, because it's the complex relationship between Guts and Griffith. It is so complex, because I hate Griffith. Guts
I do want to see more interactions with Guts to Demon Griffith, because it was literally just the scene with Casca, and then that was it. That's all that they've had since then. So I want to see when he finally gets to start meeting up with the God Hands, because he's only met Apostles so far.
Yeah, I'm telling you, dude, forever I will always remember his arm in the demon's mouth. And him just taking the fucking broken sword.
Dude, the way that he drew him slicing his muscles apart, that was grotesque. I was like, what
it was fucking insane.
That was so gross. but it was
Berserk's
epic.
the best. The
It was
Berserk is
epic.
the best, dude. The Black Swordsman, fuck Kirito, man. Can't fucking believe people like, oh, the Black Sword Kirito. Fuck that, man. Put some respect on Guts' name. Or if you watch fan dubs,
I don't
or
see. Even after all this time, I don't even like see Guts as a swordsman though. He's just like,
he's just a butcher.
yeah. They should have just called him the Dragon Slayer or the Demon Slayer or something. The swordsman ain't good enough. Nobody wields a fucking poneglyph as a weapon.
I love, dude. Has he gotten the Dragon Slayer?
Yeah, he got it. He gets it right after the eclipse. The first demon shows up and breaks the like piddly sword that the dude gives him, and then he gets knocked into the warehouse and he's like, "Oh, you were keeping this for me," and then he just one shot the guy, and I was like, I see. You can't have them baby swords. This ain't no Goo Goo Gaga mode anymore.
That shit ain't gonna cut, dude. I love Berserk. Read Berserk. I know it's difficult.
I might try to watch the first season of Berserk, but I done seen what happened to the second season. I might stop after that.
Okay, do you understand now? Do you understand my rage at that shitty 2016?
I didn't even have to read it to know the rage. I saw the second season. I know. I saw it, and I thought it was like a terrible fanimation. And when you're like, no, that actually happened, I was like, I see.
It angers me because it should be Vinland Saga. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that'd be cool.
Berserk. Yeah.
Like, Berserk is so fucking sick. And the OG anime, and if you're fine with some CGI, the remake 3 movies are amazing. Because it's like the Golden Arc movies that they released on Netflix years ago, which I think they're back on Netflix, looks really good. It does have some CGI, but it goes in between CGI and 2D. And it does look fine, but obviously I watched it back in like 2013, whenever it first came out. So if you don't throw up at CGI, I would recommend watching those, or go back and watch the original 90s anime. Even though it's old, it's still really good. But it's just like, Berserk is so good, and it deserves a studio to tell that story, because it's fantastic, man. It's fantastic. I love Berserk.
Yeah. There was a lot of thoughts since I was going through it so fast. I didn't really internalize a lot of it, and I was like right before the podcast, I was like, oh, I gotta take that'll piss everybody off. And then I sat there in silence for like 5 seconds, and I was like, you know what? Probably not.
You started to say it, and I was just like, please, no. Because like, we started talking about it, and I was like, I get where you're coming from, but I was like, I feel like it's missing the whole Casca content.
Yeah, all the way up to that point, I was like, yeah, it's fucked. And then I was like, oh yeah, he killed everybody. And then I was like, yeah, he's like pretty much a dick. And I was like, I get it. Like, but he's not the only anime character that's ever just like killed his whole troop before. So I was like, why is he the one that everyone hates? And then they got to the end of it, and I was like, gotcha. Now I know. Now I got it.
Dude, I'm telling you, Casca was like, I love Casca. And having to see her like that is sucked. I've been
I was like,
for 20 years.
I want her to come back, but it's like, I know that she'll never come back as she was. And it's like, that's fine. Like, I would still like to see her come back, but at the same time, since the story is following Guts, she better not fucking show up ever. Because that means she's gonna die. So,
well, you got a lot of ups and downs and twists and turns coming. Oh, Berserk is so good, man. But fuck me, it destroys me at times. Just to talk about some of the chapters that came out post-mortem, like after Miura passed, there's a face that Guts makes after a thing happens, and I literally just sat there staring at my computer monitor, just being like, why am I doing this to myself? like it literally hurts to read this shit. I'm
after which part was it?
It's a part in the most recent, like in one of the most recent chapters.
One I'll see like way later.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna say what it is. It's just literally, I stared at Guts' face, and you see like the fucking sadness on his face, and I'm just staring at the screen, and I'm just like,
you just sit there with your hands crossed a little bit, and you're like, "What I've been?"
I had to ask myself,
subjected to,
and that's why I was like, I asked myself, I was like, do I keep reading this?
Got to,
It's
you
not
got
bad.
to. Now you're gonna disgrace Guts' memory. You have to see it through. You got
Dude,
to. You got your own brand of sacrifice. You have to see it through. That's
I
gonna be
don't
your first
know.
tattoo right there on the back of your neck. Is
No,
brand of
'cause that's what
sacrifice.
every fucking anime fan get. Every anime fan, especially ladies, they get the fucking brand of sacrifice up there, or they get the fucking the spider tattoo from Hunter x Hunter. I
Yeah.
can't be no basic bitch
Yeah.
anime fan. But no, like again, Berserk's fantastic. I'm glad that you're reading it. I hope you're enjoying it. Again, it's old as shit. It's like 40 years old, but Berserk is great, man. Berserk
Yeah.
is so good.
I was a little concerned that I was gonna be too focused on the like character design because they got wide faces, man. Their
Yeah,
eyes
Guts
are
have a
like out
thick-ass
here,
head.
bruh. They look in two different ways. They way the fuck out here.
Hey,
But
you never played a Persona game or eyes all over the place.
yeah, I was like, ooh, man. I know that you said it got better, but I was like, oof, this is kind of a rough one. And it's like the drawings themselves were good. It was just like the structure of it was kind of weird. And I was like, I don't know if I can't look at this anymore. And then whenever Griffith, like human Griffith, did his like childlike innocent smile, I was like, that's a demon smile right there. That ain't no childlike. They're like, why are you looking at me so innocent? And I'm like, what the fuck are you looking at?
Yeah, no, Guts is dude. Their whole relationship is so fucking weird. Their relationship in the bed, I was like, what's going on here?
Yeah, when Griffith was like naked outside taking a shower, and he's just like suddenly having a heart-to-heart conversation with him, and then they just start like playing around in the water. I'm like, what happened? What? I'm like, what's going on here?
Oh, dude, you gotta watch the '90s anime because the best bit of the '90s anime is that they have blooper tracks, and some of the funniest shit happens in the Berserk bloopers that I always would quote back in the day, and nobody would understand because nobody watched Berserk. My love for you is like a truck, berserker. Like it's so good. It's so because it's like I missed that in anime. It was one of the best things about having like Blu-ray or DVD like copies of the anime. Because like Speed Grapher, I don't know if you ever watched Speed Grapher.
Mm-hmm.
Speed Grapher was like, this real edgy like anime, like early aughts anime where the guy had like a camera and his power was like he'd take photos and like blow people up or whatever, like fucking Gantz guns. And they had like a blooper reel where they would like just fuck around or whatever. And God, it was so fucking funny.
Gray Man had a version of that as well. They had like spin-off half episodes, and it was like the one I remember is just specifically like Lena Lee's brother just gathering Alan and Lavi up, and then like she just kept calling him a baka taco. And that's where I learned that taco meant octopus. And I was like, what the fuck? Why are you calling him an octopus? But the like whole episode was funny, but that's the only thing I remember from it is her calling him that. Because I remember putting so much focus on the word taco, and I was like, I know what baka is, and I was like, but what the hell is a taco? And I was like, I couldn't ask anybody because I was like, God, how do you walk up to somebody and go, hey man, what's a taco?
Yeah, like, you dipshit, it's a Mexican cuisine.
Yeah, what do you mean what's a taco? And I'm like, no, you don't understand.
Like takoyaki. And then they just slap you and shun you for the weeb that you are.
Yeah. But yeah, those like heartfelt ones, the like funny in between moments are few and far between. Well, they're actually not as few and far between as I thought. When I came up with the topic for today, which is our favorite comedy moments in anime, I had a lot. As I was like scrolling through the list, I was like, oh yeah, I remember that. I was like, that was funny. This is funny. I had to pull up my list because I had to write it down because I was like, I ain't gonna remember this.
Okay, so while you pull up your list, man, whip it out. I'm going to just talk a little bit about comedy anime in general. I love comedic anime, and I feel like we've kind of been like in a lull of like really good.
Yeah, you don't get
like,
anime that's like specifically for funnies. Like they have the deer one that just came out. I didn't like that one. Yeah, like the opening was like a bop. Like it just kind of lived rent free in my head for forever. But I didn't think it was that funny. It was just like really dumb. But it was like not the dumb kind. It wasn't like a good kind of dumb funny. Like it was. I saw the direction they were going for, but I was like more annoyed by it than I thought it was like funny. And I was like, you know what? You're right. I'm just not gonna watch this. I was like 7 episodes in, and I was like, ugh. Nah, because they kept doing the weird sister thing, and I was like, can you just not have that? That was so dumb. I don't know why they
In
just
my
like
anime.
yeah, they just decided that the main character's sister was just going to be like really obsessive, and I was like, what the fuck? I don't understand why they decided to add that. How many moments?
But yeah,
Not that
I
time.
miss the day and age of where there were a lot of like really good comedy anime. Like now, obviously, comedy is just always in anime. You know, like you'll have like a show like a Naruto or whatever, and you get like the standard like jokes and anime,
Mhm.
you know, tropes and things of that nature. But I miss the era where they were just like strictly comedy anime. And I guess the only real one right now, or the one that comes up to my mind, is like Konosuba. That was like the standout, like, oh, this is the funny
Yeah.
anime.
Which they made, which
there
they
was-
also made kind of weird and uncomfortable in the latest season. I was like, this is not,
Yeah,
this is not that funny. It
that's
was
what
like
a lot
all
of people
right.
said, which is kind of sad.
Yeah, it was all right.
Well, I talked to people and they were like, "Yeah, season 3 of Konosuba wasn't that great." I was like, "Fuck," because I really enjoyed season 1. I haven't watched
Yeah,
season 2
season
yet.
1 and season 2, and then like even the Megumin spinoff one was like, it was pretty decent. It was kind of funny. And then season 3, they got like too real with it. It was like what? Because they like suddenly started having to like pay back all the taxes and shit that for the buildings that got destroyed when the like the generals showed up, and then it was like trying to save Darkness from like an arranged marriage that she essentially sold herself off to pay the bills, and I was like, this is what the fuck? This is not funny. So
This is not funny.
but whenever somebody asks me what my favorite one, I have one moment that I always reference that's funny, and then I have one show that I always reference for fun. The one moment that I always reference, if nobody's talking about it, I'll always just say it, and then nobody ever catches it. It is Dragon Ball Z when Vegito is fighting Buhan, and Buhan turns him into the ball of chocolate, and then he just like busts through the back of his throat.
Oh,
and he goes, "What's wrong, Boo? I thought you wanted to eat me. I went right into your mouth."
yeah.
That shit cracks me up every time. I was like, you literally just tore through his face as a ball of chocolate and then turned around and taunted him. That's so
Dude,
funny.
Vegito's so good. The thing that pisses me off is that they always so strong and they just be fucking dicking around. But yeah, no, the whole Buhan Vegito fight is great because Vegito's like such a shit talker. He has more of that Vegeta personality. So
that's like the
taunting.
funniest stuck in my mind moment of like all of Dragon Ball Z. Because like
that whole fight
they're like, what do you like about Dragon
shit.
Ball Z? I like this 1 30-second clip.
But there's also another good bit in that fight where he's turned into chocolate. He's like the little like gum jawbreaker or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then he's like flying around and Boo's like trying to punch him. And they're like doing like the cartoon, like kind of like his fists are just flying around and then the chocolate ball is flying around. And then you see Vegito chocolate ball just goes off to the side and Boo's still swinging, trying to hit him. And he's just sitting there watching. You can see him like there's a dot like above him, just looking at him like punch like an idiot. Like, it's so good, dude.
Yeah, I think the taunt is what got it for me the last time though. It was so funny. I just didn't think that he would taunt him as a ball of candy. Just wasn't ready for it.
Again, Toriyama is a comedy writer at heart, dude.
Yeah, he's just holding it back for the rest of us, doing what he hates.
Yeah,
he's drawing action and comedy. He wants to do comedy shows.
He started off with comedy.
My favorite comedy show was, a lot of people went for Azumanga Daioh or Nichijou. My favorite one was Asobi Asobase, and there was one scene that like sealed the deal on it being like my favorite comedy one, and it was like they were like doing some kind of punishment game, and the punishment was whoever was the victor got to like slap the other person on the butt like as hard as they could, and the one person was like, they were like, be gentle with it, don't hurt me, and then like right before, no, she was like, don't hold back, I don't want to be treated too gently. And then she was like, I'm just kidding, I'm just joking, under her voice. And then the other lady had like, they had the camera like below her, where they had like that dark despair look on her face. And she's like, I respect your resolve. And she slapped the ever-loving shit out of it. And it just like vibrated all over the screen. I was like, what the fuck? That was so fucking funny. Oh, every time I see it, I bust a gut. It's so funny. The whole thing is just like wild, but it's like the fun kind of stupid. It is like actually good shit. That was like, oh, it's so funny. The one of the characters is just like she is she's a foreign character, but she was raised in Japan, so she's got blonde hair. So everybody thinks that she can speak English, but she doesn't know how to speak English. So she acts like she knows how to speak English and then speaks in broken English and convinces everybody that that's the real English. So, and then she's also got like this super rich butler, and then she just like calls him on like a whim, and he just like appears all the time. Hilarious. Go watch it. It's so fucking funny.
Dude, I need to now.
It's so funny.
Dude, okay,
I can't even like.
I thought of a
so
bunch
good.
of. Yeah, because I thought about a bunch of funny ass moments in anime, but I guess first I'll jump into some of the comedy anime that I really enjoy. One of my favorite animes I fucking love is Full Metal Panic. I love Full Metal Panic.
Is that the one where the dude gets the shotgun out against the? Okay, I never actually saw that one, but I saw that clip. That was funny.
That shit was so fucking
that
funny.
shit was hilarious.
Like, the karate dude's like, I'm gonna beat your ass, and it's Sosuke Sagura. It's just like, all right, he's a fantastic martial artist. He could have beat the guy, and he just immediately just took the shotgun out with the beanbag and just blasted his asses with the wrist. And she's just like, what the fuck? Why did you shoot him? And he's like, that was the best way to take care of it.
It's like, hey, my objective here was to win. My objective wasn't to do martial arts. It was to win. This was the easy win.
I love him so much because his whole gimmick is he just been like a child soldier for forever, and his mission is like the most important thing, and he always does his mission right to the best of his ability, the most efficient way. So when that happened, he got challenged. He was like, "Well, the most efficient way is just shoot him and then take him out."
He's like, he's not wrong.
The funny thing is, like with the base anime, it's kind of like half high school, anime high schooler comedy, and then also half Gundam serious as war. Like anime. So it's like there's a lot of levity and comedy in Full Metal Panic, but then also it's very serious and really cool robots fights. But then they made like a spin-off series that's called Full Metal Panic Fufumafu. That's all comedy and all like the high school hijinks. And that shit is so fucking funny. So it's like if you enjoyed the comedy of Full Metal Panic, you're going to love Fufumafu because it's just all that like in the whole show. And it's really funny. But that moment with
I definitely
like
didn't.
The highlight.
I definitely, when I saw that, I laughed my ass off. But it didn't have the title of the anime, so it just kind of like fell to the wayside for me, and I didn't ever get to go back and watch it because I think I was getting it mixed up with Full Metal Jacket or something.
And that's not funny.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know where this came from, so I just like disregarded it. But that scene was fucking funny.
There's so many good moments like that in Full Metal Panic. It's so fucking funny, dude. Like that. And then growing up, there was a bunch. So I would watch like Tenchimuyo GXP, which is, I mean, if you watch Tenchimuyo, the classic, it's that, but mostly comedy space adventures, which was really, really funny. But I can't really remember any moment because I watched it when I was 14. But that was another classic. There's so many good like comedy animes, and I kind of miss that. But to just kind of talk about individual moments that always stick with me, I know you might be able to, resonate with this as well. One of my favorite moments that always fucking make me laugh is in Soul Eater.
Wait, can I guess? Because it's on my list. It's on my list.
Okay, guess.
Does it involve Black Star?
Yes.
Does it involve Soul?
One? Yes.
Is it when Black Star tries to wield Soul and drops him on his head?
Okay, that was funny as fuck because they immediately like Black Star was like, "I got this," and he just
and then he like tries to lift him, and he's like, and then he like tries to set him upright, and he drops him, and he ends up cutting himself on the head.
Dude, I love them. I love their dynamic. They're so funny together. That moment is great, but that's not the moment I'm talking about. My favorite moment was them trying to cheat off each other during the test. And Soul's just looking at Black Star because they're taking a test in the school, and like Sid is their teacher, and he's up there, and they're like taking the test, and fucking Black Star just like Soul's taking the test with Maka. Maka's smart, and Soul's an idiot, so he's like, I gotta figure out a way to do it, and he looks at Black Star, and Black Star looks at him and like gives him a thumbs up, and then like he's like, oh, I gotta get help from Black Star. He's trying to like cheat off of him. And he realizes, like, this dude's a fucking idiot. He doesn't know anything. He just thumbs me up for no reason. And they both get caught, and like Sid like knocks him out and like puts him at the top of the class or whatever like that because they were cheating. Why that moment made me laugh so fucking hard. But there's another moment as well. That's my favorite moment. But the other moment that I really enjoy is I don't remember why it happens. I can't remember even the punchline. But it's when Soul and Black Star they see each other, like they reunite, and they do like the typical like
Oh,
romance.
oh yeah, the bromance engage and they go like in slow motion, but they're like poorly animated. That's
Yeah.
so I love that.
That shit made me laugh so hard. I fucking love that shit. I love Soul Eater. I know people hate it because the ending wasn't that great because it didn't follow the manga because the manga wasn't finished at the time. I love Soul
Yeah,
Eater.
the ending kind of sucked. Yeah, I didn't even realize that the manga like went farther. The anime had like the dumbest ending. Like the actual aspects within the anime was actually not that bad. They just skipped fucking everything. They're just like in the show. They're just like, by the way, Maka's a weapon, and you're like, oh, what? Huh?
Yeah, it really sucked because it had the Full Metal Alchemist problem, whereas like the manga and anime were running at the same time, and the anime outpaced the manga, so they came up with their own ending.
Yeah,
and
Soul Eater had like funny fillers though. I like Soul Eater's like middle stuff.
I thought that I was going to hate Excalibur. I love Excalibur.
I love that everybody hates Excalibur.
Yeah. Every time he pops up and they're just like, ugh, this fucking guy. So good. I love Soul Eater. Soul Eater is so funny. Another one, classic anime moment. It is from High School of the Dead. An anime that, you probably can't talk about like it too much, but I love High School of the Dead. The fucking, like the zombie outbreak happening. And everybody's running to the school, and it's the two girls holding hands, like, we're friends, we're gonna make it out, we're gonna survive. And they're doing an anime girl run, and then the one girl just gets her leg grabbed, and she gets pulled down the stairs, and she's holding onto her friend's hand, and she's like, please help me. She's getting eaten up by zombies, and her friend just looks down with like that fucking evil ass dead stare. She's like, let go of me, bitch. Go. Yeah, she's like, bitch, I said, let's go. And she just kicks her friend in the fucking face, and you hear. The dub is so fucking funny here. They did not have to do this. The squeal the girl makes when she like gets kicked down the stairs, and she's like, ah! And then she like, you see her tumbling down the stairs, and the zombies just start eating her. I was like, that shit is so fucking funny. Because it's such a shock because it's like they were running and they were all happy and they're like, we're gonna survive.
It's like, yo, you switched up Hunter too fast.
It was insane.
Like that was the objectively correct decision, but like you could have just hesitated a little bit. You didn't have to call her a bitch or anything like that.
She did not care about her life at all.
I love it when this only gets to happen if you watch it in sub because it doesn't work the other way around. Whenever any of the Japanese voice actors swear in English, that shit is so fucking funny. You just like, because you don't ever see it coming. You just hear somebody just go like, God damn it, in like English, and you're like, wait, what? What'd you just say?
That's why I love JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Hearing fucking
God damn it!
God damn it, son of a bitch!
That's so funny. I love that so much. I wish they would do. I wish more people would do that. It's so hilarious to me. I don't know why it's so funny.
It's so good, dude.
Like based on just like the sounds, there's also one specific sound that I always chuckle at. It never like gets me into like a full blown like belly laugh or anything, but I always chuckle at it. And it's like whenever they do the like something weird happens, not like super crazy, but something strange, and then they do the animation where they just like zoom way out. There's nothing in the background. They're like really simplified, and they just go, eh. That shit cracks me up. I love it so much. Oh, that's like my favorite sound effect.
It is so good. So good. Dude, I'm trying to. There's so many like good comedic moments. One of my favorite moments, one of my favorite episodes of Naruto is the Naruto episode where they're like, dude, I love it so much. It's a filler episode, but it's when Team 7 is trying to figure out what Kakashi's face looks like.
And oh, yeah. Is it the big lip one or the second mask one?
Okay. Both. So the big lip one is fucking hilarious. When Sasuke's just like, what the fuck could be under there? And he just imagines Kakashi removing the mask as the big ass lip,
or the beaver teeth.
Yeah, and I'm just like, dude, why couldn't Sasuke be like that more? I know it's filler, but like, I love the Team 7 dynamic so much, and that shit was so fucking funny to me. Like that episode was great. I love that episode. It's like stuff like that is like why I like filler, because you can have like fun little moments with the squad that you wouldn't normally get in the show because you're pushing the story along. So that kind of stuff is fun. Most of the time, filler is just like a waste of fucking time. But that episode will always go down as like one of my favorite episodes in OG Naruto. This shit was fucking hilarious. So good. Like comedy
I
is
love moments like that. Where it's
yeah,
just
comedy is
so
so needed
fucking
and stuff,
weird.
man. You need a little bit of levity. I know we were just talking about Berserk earlier and how Puck is put in there for levity, but he kind of just feel like a distraction from all the real shit that I want to watch.
Yeah, he kind of Puck make it so that like I can't fully sink myself into like Guts's shoes. He keeps like pulling me out, and like I don't want to be pulled out. But the rest of this stuff is like fucking way up there.
But dude, that's what I love about like comedy in general. Like not like I'm a huge comedy fan. Like I love comedy. Like I love watching stand-up specials. I love watching comedic films. And I feel like it's kind of like a not really a I don't want to talk about too much. It's kind of like a lost art because I feel like now all comedians are just like, I'm a political commentator. I'm just like, man, yo, shut your stupid ass up. I just want to
They're relatable.
The
They're relatable. You gotta stick around.
Yeah, I was like, I just want to hear about the ha-has and telling jokes, man. I don't want to hear about this.
I want to hear. I just like hearing the like. They have to do it well, though. I like stupid humor, but they have to do it well. Shikanoko, I don't think did it too well. I think they did like they tried to go too hard.
What do you think about Pop Team Epic?
I think they're great. I think their stupid animation it makes it even better.
Because I enjoyed that.
I didn't get to watch a whole lot of it, but I did see it. I did see parts of it, and I was like, I think that its stupidity is awesome. I love it. Like Demon Slayer does it all the time with Inosuke, especially in their manga, where they make him look even fucking dumber and like really simple and like small. And it is so much funnier when they do that.
I love that.
The dumber it is when done well in the proper way it like adds so much hilarity to it. The two like funniest fucking things. Actually, I'll go three. I'll go three funniest things. I'll just shotgun real quick. Nichijou when the principal suplexes the deer.
Oh my god.
That is so fucking funny. There is when in Hinamatsuri they do the don't look this way thing and they have to like point. And they use their psychic powers. They use their psychic powers to like make them try to look that way. And the blonde girl tries and fails, and then Hina does it and just like snaps her neck. And the sound effect was like, oh shit! That was so fucking funny.
Once in a while, I never knew where it was from.
Yeah, it was from Hinamatsuri. That was why I started watching it. I only got like 5 episodes in, and then I just dropped it because that was like the funniest thing ever. And then the rest of it was just like, man, I wish he would just snap somebody else's neck. And then there was another one in a generally not that funny anime, Fire Force has one moment where they portray how Arthur gets stronger the more he believes that he is a knight. And so they give him a little wooden pony stick and he uses that and like a piece of cardboard and pretends like he's a knight on cavalry, and he just becomes this unstoppable force of destruction. And I was like, what the fuck?
Was so good. That was so good.
It was so random. It was so random. I was like, who came up with that? Who was just like, yeah, this guy's gonna get extra strong because he just believes. It's like so out there. And apparently, according to the manga, there's like no upper limit to that either. He at some point apparently does that as strong enough to just cut the world in half.
Wait, what?
Yeah, apparently he just believes that he's a knight enough that his like little plasma blade is strong enough and big enough to just cut the planet in half. So I was like, what?
Fire Force so dumb.
Fire Force is crazy, man. They also like oversimplified faces do it. Like Spy Family, Anya specifically does it so fucking funny. Everybody's seen Anya's smug little face. That's just hilarious.
My favorite thing, yeah, her smug face is great. The fucking dodgeball shit made me laugh so fucking hard, dude.
Oh, dude, yeah, when she like overhyped that move and she just like chucks it straight into the ground. Not even that she just threw it straight into the ground. The dude picked it up and threw it back, and then she just like took it really lightly and then was just like crying about it. I was like, oh my god, they hyped me up. They tricked me. I was ready.
Man,
I was rooting for her.
That shit got me, dude. That shit found me. I was laughing my ass off. Soul Family, Spy Family, so good.
The other thing from Spy Family that I had that I actually made a redeem for because I thought it was so funny was we all know that if you've seen Spy Family, you know that the dog is like capable of understanding human speech because he's got like future sight of some kind. So there's an episode where it's like all about Bond, and Anya cooks him a meal and puts it in his dog bowl, and it's like the toxic sludge stuff, and they just like slam the Japanese characters for "It's over" on the screen. That fucking cracked me up. Immediately, I was like, I'm adding that to stream. That was so funny. I love that when they do that, the like toxic sludge cooking thing is like so stupid, but it's like always funny. I don't know why I think it's always funny, but I just love to see it.
It was good in
when Shion does it, Shion's is like, it's like extra funny because when Rimuru becomes the Demon Lord, she got blessed with that special gift so that the food always tastes like how she wants it, no matter what she puts in it. So it comes out looking like purple sludge, but it's supposed to taste really good. And nobody wants to eat it anyway because it looks like purple sludge. And you're like,
I was like,
you're like, what do I just say? Get over it? Because like,
I wouldn't want to eat that.
Yeah, like Shuna makes good looking and good tasting food, so it's like, nah, just eat Shuna's food. Shuna's good. I love it. Those are like I have all kinds of lists. Like as I was going through it, like I was saying, I have all kinds of ones that are just like one moment that just like caught me off guard. The best one that caught me like the most off guard, actually, two of them caught me off guard more than I could have ever imagined. One of them was, I'll say the older one first. Yami from Black Clover, when they tried to go pick him up in a portal and he was just like in the shitter. I was like, what the fuck?
Oh yeah.
He was like actively taking a dump, and I was like, you didn't have to show that. and then the other one was Kaiju number 8, when he first transformed and he was running away and he ended up pissing out of his nipples.
Oh yeah.
I was so excited to see that animated because when I read it in the manga, I was like, they did what now?
Dude.
But yeah, the ones like that. And then there's ones that like they go to catch you off guard and you're like you like cheer for it because you're like, yeah, cheer, you deserve that. If you've ever seen Cautious Hero, that's also a really fucking funny one. The whole thing is funny from like start to finish. And then like at the very end, it's just like, by the way, feels. And you're like, oh shit. But there's one moment where this one night lady is like, she's talking all big. And she is like, you can't hit me because I'm a woman type of person. And then she goes up to hit the guy, the main character, and he just like bats the sword away and smacks her across the face.
Oh,
I was like, oh shit!
So fast. That shit was so fast and so funny. I've seen that clip.
It was like instant. I was like, there was no hesitation in that. He was like, boom, whack.
Like it looks like such a light slap, but her fucking face gets destroyed.
Yeah. It's stuff like that just gets me. It's like it only takes a moment. It takes one specific, like one instant where it's just like it either takes what you were expecting and flips it around, or it does exactly what you want in an unexpected way. Like you figure that they're just not gonna hit her because they're gonna pull the it's a woman thing, and then when he just like smacked her, you're like, oh. Nice. She earned that one. This is not me. Yeah. This is not me saying go hit women or anything. I just want to preface. Don't hit people. In this instance, it was pretty funny. So
But that reminds me of fucking. Oh, we can talk about this in fucking cows come on. But my last one for the podcast will be a big shout out to one of my favorite animes, Jim and Ippo. The fucking Aoki look away.
Which one?
The frog punch dude. Aoki, the noodle shop dude. The look away. I don't know why that shit kills me, but him boxing somebody and he'll just be like, and he'll just look away and his opponent's just like, what the fuck is he looking at? And he just looks too, and he just like,
and then he goes into the punch.
Dude, it's so good. I mean, Aoki's whole thing is being a comedian.
Because you're like, you can't, like, you feasibly can't believe that is like. But at the say, like, you see it and you're like, there's no way that could happen in real life. But like in real life, that could actually happen, because anytime anybody just like randomly looks off to the side, you're like, what? You will look like you will.
And him using that as like his special technique when everybody else got like dipshy rolls and fucking counter punches and flicker jabs. And
I like how he tried to play it up too, like he was some kind of like epic top tier boxer, because he just like does this weird childlike frog jump, but also will like distract you by looking away. I was like, what kind of boxer is this?
Dude, he's the worst. That's why everybody shits on him. But I do. There's so many funny moments in Hajime no Ippo. One of my favorite moments is when like Ippo, like he goes over to Kimura and them while they're like training, they're like shadow boxing, and he joins them, and they're all like shadowboxing together, just like really sick. And then they like get the idea to start fucking with him, so they start doing random moves, and he's doing them too. So they just like start dancing and like they hop up and shit.
Oh
and
yeah.
Like, and they're like, "What the fuck are you idiots doing?"
Yeah.
Them
good
doing
stuff.
karaoke was great. Like them just like, rah, rah, rah.
Oh yeah, it was like getting sadder. The like longer it went on, it was like Takamura, I think his name was. He went up first, and then it was like, oh yeah, he's singing his heart out. He always does because he's like relieving his stress. And then they like started talking, and then the other two went up, and they were also singing really hard. And then Ippo started to get really like anxious and depressed, so he also went up and did it, and then they were all singing god awfully at the top. And I was like, oh my god, y'all are weird, y'all are fucking crazy.
I fucking love Hajime Ippo so much, dude. I love it so much. But yes, that is our comedic moments and comedic animes that make our lives a little bit happier, man. You know, the life's been a little grumpy. I've been a little grumpy these past couple of weeks, and you know what? Now I got a smile on my face after going back and reliving all these moments from all these like anime. They're just funny, like not just exclusively comedy anime, but also just funny moments from like good shows that we enjoy. Everybody needs a little levity, a little laugh. You're like, laughter is the best medicine sometimes, man, and it lifts your spirits. So hopefully you guys enjoyed us, you know, talking about Berserk as well as talking about some funny ass moments in different shows that we enjoy. And if you guys have a comedy anime that you like to recommend, or there's a funny moment that you want to reminisce with, let us know in the comments below. And also help you boys out by hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button, hitting that little notification bell. And again, hanging out with your boys. We're here every single week, barring that 1 week, but every single week giving you guys our anime knowledge. We are blessing you guys. We ain't telling you how to invest in stocks. We ain't telling you how to make your life better. We're not giving you chicken noodle soup for the soul. We talk about anime, baby. That's way better. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. We'll catch you guys next week, Sunday, for the 35th episode of DNAnime Podcast. But hope you guys had fun. Hope you guys enjoyed this one, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye.